Raffaele Trombetta is the Italian ambassador to the UK, and he joins us now from the embassy in central London. Ambassador, thank you very much for joining us here on BBC News. How important is tourism, generally speaking, on a good year for the Italian economy?
Well, it is very important. It's one of the main items, let's say, of our economy. And I have to say, we are working now to open again the country to tourism. Starting from June the 3rd, the country will be open again to travelers coming from the UK, from the European Union countries and the Schengen countries. And we are going to do that also together with some measure to make sure that when people come, they feel in a sort of environment, a safe environment.
We'll talk about the measures in a moment if we can, but first, the European Union tourism ministers have failed to agree on how to open the borders. So how confident can you be that that timescale can be met?
Well, we have already decided that, from the 3rd of June, some measures will be lifted and that the country will be open again. And the European Union has also issued some guidelines a few days ago that countries, of course, are invited to follow. So I don't see that to be a problem, to be honest.
How then are you going to make sure that people are kept safe and perhaps more importantly feel they're being kept safe?
Well, we have set, our health ministry has set a monitoring system of the epidemiological situation in the country. And this system is based on data provided by the different regions on a daily basis. The aim is basically to provide indicators that will classify the virus transmission, the impact of COVID-19 on the health systems, and then the resilience of even the local health care systems in case there is an insurgence of the epidemic.
And if there is a resurgence, what do you do then?
Well, we will see region by region. I mean, the Italian approach has been since the beginning to try to identify a sort of cluster, of the epidemic and isolate them in order to contain the spread of the virus. So that's why I was saying before, those data are provided by the different regions. So we will evaluate the situation region by region. And if the case is that, some regions, some area of the countries become a new cluster, then we will act accordingly.
But that sounds like a real mess, that you could have people who've booked to come to a region and then they can't, or that you try to divert them somewhere else. It doesn't sound very workable.
It is, because it has worked so far. I mean, we started, as you probably know, the epidemic started in some regions in the north of Italy, and we managed to contain the spread of the virus in those regions. So actually, it has worked so far, and we are confident it will be working also in the future. And again, these are data that the regions will provide on a daily basis, and the regions also, together with the government, will make the appropriate decisions.
But remind us how many people died as a consequence of COVID-19 in Italy, despite your restrictions.
Yeah, but most of them, a good part of them, were actually localized in some specific regions. So don't forget that, we were the first country in Europe to face this big pandemic, this big crisis. So we were the first ones, to face the challenge, and we did in a way that, as I said, although the dramatic numbers of deaths, and there is nothing that could obviously compensate that. But anyway, we managed to contain the spread in those regions.
What do you imagine the tourism season will look like for Italy? How reduced will it necessarily have to be to keep people safe?
Obviously, we are having a sort of gradual step-by-step approach. So we are opening, for instance, restaurants, bar, shops were opened on last Monday. Then next week, the gym and a swimming pool, for instance, always respecting social distancing. This is very important. It's very important that people behave in a responsible way with self-discipline. So obviously, we don't expect that we go immediately to where we were 1 year ago, I mean, in terms of tourism. But as I say, with a gradual approach, step by step, making sure that our citizens and also those coming to our country will respect all the measures, all the social distancing and measures that are required, we are confident that, we can, again, also for the tourism, step by step, gradually, we will go back to where we would like to be.
What part will quarantine play for people coming in and out of Italy?
Well, of course, if they have symptoms, then they will have, the first thing they have to do, basically, to get in touch with the sort of the health authority, local authorities, and then they will be given all the necessary advice, including, first of all, self-isolation.
Ambassador, we appreciate you joining us today here on BBC News. Raffaele Trombetta, the Italian ambassador to the UK. Thank you.
Thank you.